Imagine this. You are listening to a beautiful piece of music. A gentle piano begins to play. Soft strings slowly rise in the background. A melody starts to take shape. Simple at first, then emotional, then powerful. The music feels alive. It feels human, as if someone poured their memories, emotions, and life experiences into every single note. Perhaps it reminds you of your childhood, a special person, a forgotten dream, or a feeling you cannot fully explain. Then, someone tells you something unexpected. No human composer wrote that music. No musician sat at a piano. No singer performed it. No songwriter spent weeks crafting the melody. Instead, the entire piece was created by artificial intelligence, an AI, a machine, a collection of algorithms running inside a computer. At first, this sounds impossible. After all, music has always seemed deeply human. Music is emotion. Music is creativity. Music is expression. For thousands of years, humans have used music to celebrate victories, mourn losses, tell stories, express love, and connect with one another. Music feels like one of the most personal forms of human creation. So how can a machine create it? How can a computer that has never felt happiness compose a joyful melody? How can a system that has never experienced heartbreak create a song that makes people cry? How can a machine produce music that touches human emotions? To answer that question, we first need to understand something important. What exactly is music? Most people would say that music is emotion. And emotionally speaking, that is true. But from a technical perspective, music is also a pattern, a highly organized pattern. A pattern of notes, a pattern of rhythm, a pattern of harmony, a pattern of timing, a pattern of repetition and variation. Every song ever created follows certain structures. Pop songs follow patterns, classical compositions follow patterns, jazz follows patterns, rock follows patterns. Even traditional folk music from different cultures follows recognizable musical structures. And patterns happen to be exactly what artificial intelligence is exceptionally good at recognizing. Imagine a child learning music. The child listens to thousands of songs. Pop songs, classical pieces, movie soundtracks, traditional music. Over time, the child's brain begins noticing relationships. Certain notes sound good together. Certain chord progressions create specific emotions. Certain rhythms make people want to dance. The child is not memorizing every song. The child is learning patterns. AI learns in a surprisingly similar way. Not through emotions, not through personal experiences, but through data. Enormous amounts of data. Millions of songs. Millions of melodies. Millions of chord progressions. Millions of musical examples from different genres, cultures, and time periods. Researchers feed this information into AI systems. The AI analyzes it. It studies melodies, rhythms, harmonies, song structures, transitions, instrument combinations, and slowly it begins to learn the relationships hidden within the music. But there is something important to understand. AI does not understand music the way humans do. When humans hear a sad song, they feel sadness. They feel beauty. They feel joy. AI is simply processing sound patterns. It does not understand the meaning of those patterns, nor is there any emotion behind it. When humans hear an uplifting song, they feel inspired. AI feels none of these things. For a computer, music is data, digital information, numbers. Every note becomes a numerical value. Every rhythm becomes a pattern. Every chord becomes a mathematical relationship. And from billions of these relationships, the AI learns how music is structured. Once enough patterns have been learned, something remarkable happens. The AI can begin creating entirely new music, music that never existed before. The secret behind this process is prediction. At the heart of many modern AI systems is a simple question: what comes next? Imagine a melody. The AI hears the first few notes. Then it asks, what note is most likely to come next? It selects one. Then asks again, what note should follow that? Then again, and again, and again. One note becomes a phrase. One phrase becomes a melody. One melody becomes a section. And eventually, an entire song emerges. What sounds like creativity is often a chain of millions of predictions happening at extraordinary speed. The more advanced the AI model becomes, the more convincing the music can sound. Today's AI systems can generate far more than simple melodies. They can create complete arrangements: drums, bass, piano, guitar, orchestral instruments, electronic sounds, and even realistic vocals. Entire songs can now be generated from a simple text prompt. Imagine typing, "Create a cinematic soundtrack for an astronaut exploring a distant planet." Within seconds, AI can generate music that sounds like it belongs in a science fiction movie. Or perhaps you type, "Create relaxing music for a rainy evening." The AI can instantly compose a completely original piece designed to match that atmosphere. Just a decade ago, this would have sounded like science fiction. Today, it is becoming reality. One of the most fascinating applications of AI music involves imitation of historical styles. Researchers have trained AI systems using the works of legendary composers, such as Johann Sebastian Bach, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, and Ludwig van Beethoven. After studying thousands of compositions, the AI learns the musical patterns associated with each composer. It learns how Bach constructed counterpoint, how Mozart developed melodies, how Beethoven created dramatic tension. Then it generates entirely new compositions inspired by those styles. Not copies, not reproductions, but original pieces that sound remarkably similar to the work of those composers. This leads to a fascinating question. Can AI be creative? The debate continues today. Some argue that AI is not truly creative. It merely recombines patterns it has already learned. Others point out that human creativity may work in a somewhat similar way. A writer learns from books. A painter learns from other artists. A musician learns from the music they hear. Human creativity often involves combining existing influences into something new. If that is true, the distinction between human creativity and machine creativity becomes more complicated than it first appears. Today, AI is already being used throughout the music industry. Content creators use AI-generated background music. Game developers use AI to create adaptive soundtracks. Advertising companies generate custom music for specific audiences. Film producers experiment with AI-generated compositions, and many musicians use AI as a creative assistant, not as a replacement, but as a tool. AI can suggest melodies, generate chord progressions, create musical sketches, provide inspiration when artists feel stuck. The human musician then refines the ideas, adds emotion, makes creative decisions, shapes the final result. In this way, AI becomes a collaborator rather than a competitor. But the rise of AI music also creates important challenges. Who owns a song generated by AI? The user? The company that built the AI? The developers? Can AI-generated music be copyrighted? Should artists receive compensation if their music was used to train AI systems? What happens if AI can perfectly imitate a famous singer's voice? These questions are becoming increasingly important because technology is advancing faster than laws and regulations can adapt. And beyond legal questions, there are deeper philosophical questions. What gives music meaning? Is music meaningful because of how it sounds, or because of the human experiences behind it? If an AI creates a song that moves millions of people emotionally, does it matter that the creator never experienced those emotions? There is no universal answer, but the discussion itself reveals something fascinating about both technology and humanity. Perhaps the most surprising thing about AI-generated music is what it teaches us about creativity. For centuries, creativity was often viewed as something uniquely human, a mysterious ability that machines could never replicate. Yet AI has shown that at least some aspects of creativity involve recognizing patterns, combining ideas, transforming existing structures into new forms. This does not diminish human creativity. Instead, it helps us understand it more deeply. Because creativity may be both more magical and more structured than we once believed. And perhaps that is why AI music feels so fascinating. It forces us to ask questions that humans have never had to answer before. What is art? What is creativity? What makes a song meaningful? Can beauty exist without emotion? Can inspiration come from a machine? The answers are still unfolding. But one thing is certain. AI is becoming an increasingly powerful tool in the world of music. Its compositions are becoming more sophisticated. Its songs are becoming more convincing. Its creative possibilities continue to expand every year. And we may only be witnessing the beginning. Perhaps in the future, every person will have personalized music generated specifically for them. Music that adapts to their mood, their activities, their environment, their preferences. A soundtrack that evolves throughout the day. A soundtrack unique to each individual. No two people hearing exactly the same version. A world where music becomes dynamic rather than fixed. And if that future arrives, it will not mean the end of human music. It will mark the beginning of a new relationship between creativity and technology. Because ultimately, AI does not feel joy. AI does not feel heartbreak. AI does not dream. AI does not remember. Humans do. And perhaps the most exciting future is not one where machines replace musicians, but one where machines help musicians create things that neither could create alone. Because in the end, music has never been about algorithms. It has never been about software. It has never been about machines. Music is about connection. Connection between sounds. Connection between ideas. Connection between people. And now, for the first time in history, that connection is being shaped not only by human imagination, but also by artificial intelligence.